We are learning Yoma, Daf Mem Aleph, Amid Aleph. We are 4 lines down, Amr of Chizda. Okay, here we go. Amr of Chizda. Ein hakinin misparshois, ella oi belakichas, bailam oi basias koyin. What are the kinin? So if a zav or a ledes needs to bring a carbon, so they bring a carbon oil, which means depending on their status, their financial status, they will bring different carbonas. So now, if they are bringing a pair of birds, one's an oila and one is a chatas. Rashi before said that kine zaven v'zav is yelada she'echem and chatas ve'echem and oila. Okay, so Rav Chizda says like this: Ein akinin misparshes. The only way you can designate this set, which one is going to be an oila, which one is going to be a chatas, is only bilakichas bailam when you're purchasing it. So then you could say, that when I'm purchasing, as you're making the kinin to purchase it, I'm purchasing this as the oila and this as the chatas. Oy basiyas kain, when the kain is going to do whatever he's doing to the bird, so he says this is the oila and then he does it. But that's it. That's what Chizda says. Amar Rav Simi Barashi, my time there Chizda. What's Prat Chizda? Why does he say that? Because the pasuk says, "Ve'lakcha va'asa oy belakicha oy ba'asiya." This is actually two different pasukim. One is by a yelada, as Rashi tells us. The pasuk says, "Ve'lakcha shtei tzeirim oy shnei bnei yoyna echad la'ola v'echad l'chatas." And lakicha is when you're purchasing it. So when you're purchasing, you can purchase one to be an oila, one to be a chatas. And then by the zav, it says va'asa hakoyin echad v'chatas v'echad oila. So you have a choice, either b'shas lakicha when you're buying it, or b'shas asiya when you're actually making it into a carbon. That is when you can determine what it's going to be. That's Rav Chizda's statement. So for the Gemara, meisirei va'aso chatas, we learned that from this pasuk va'asa uchatas, that's talking about Yom Kippur, that hagoyrel oisa chatas ve'in Hashem oisa chatas. It's a goyrel can make something into the lashem and lasasal, but ve'in Hashem, just saying that one is an eila or a chatas, that does not take effect. And the Gemara said sheyachal. I would have thought v'halei dinu l'chayr you can make a kavachomer ma b'makoim. In a situation, in a place where a girl does not work, Kiddush Hashem, saying what the animal is, does work. So Makam Shekidish Hagirl, so in a place where a girl does work, didn't she Kaddish Hashem? Certainly being Mekadesh Bashem, just saying what it is, should work. That's the brisa. Now, 1 second. Where is the makam of the girl? That's how this brisa goes. Ma b'makam shaloikid, ma b'makam shal loikidish girl. Kiddush Hashem. Well, where would that be? The makam shaloikidish hagirl. So, or the ma b'makam. Let me go there. So makam shakidish hagirl. Where's the makam shakidish hagirl? Where is that spot? Well, that's when you're going. Is that when you're buying the 2 seirim? No. Is that when you're making it? When you do a gairul? Is that you bought it already, and you're not making it into a car? You're not shachting it yet. So the makam of the gairul, the Gemara wants to say kriya Hashem should work. That's not b'shas kinyan, and that's not b'shas asiya. Says the Gemara. 1 second. The lav shas lakicha, the lav shas asiyahi. This is not the time when you're purchasing and not the time when you're making the carbon. Ukatani dekava. And the Brisa says that your kaveh by saying what it is would work. So the Brisa seems not to be like Rav Chizda. You see that Kriyas Hashem works even b'makom where you would have done a gairul, which is not b'shas lakicha and not b'shas asiya. Shtarka kasha on Rav Chizda. Amar Rava. So Rava explains like this. Hachi kamar. This is how you have to read this Brisa. Ma b'makom shalakidish hagairu. Just like in a place where gairul does not work. The afilu b'shas lakicha, afilu b'shas asiya. And even at the time of purchasing or doing it. Kiddush Hashem, you could be Kairashem. B'shas lakicha, b'shas asiya. So in a place where you would make a gairul. And even in a place, right? In a place where again, in a situation where the gairul doesn't work. Even b'shas lakicha and b'shas asiya, kiddush Hashem works b'shas lakicha b'shas asiya. So makom shekiddush hagairul. So in a place where the gairul works, shalai b'shas lakicha v'shalai b'shas asiya, and the gairul will work even when you're not buying it or doing the carbon. And it didn't shekiddush Hashem b'shas lakicha b'shas asiya. Then certainly kiddush being kairashem should work b'shas lakicha and b'shas asiya. So Rava just throws shas asiya and shas lakicha into the kal v'chaimer to say that that is when the kriyas shem would work. Again, and then the Gemara said, so Rava puts in kriyas shem into the puts shas lakicha and shas asiya into the kal v'chaimer. Okay, let's try another one. Toshima. Mitame mikdash. Oh, so here we have like this. The halach is like this. Someone comes into the mikdash, tamei. So he is chayav to bring a carbon oila v'yered. Oila v'yered means that if you're oila v'yered means it depends on your financial state, not the carbon we mentioned before. That was a mistake. This is a carbon a yelad that says it's not chayav a carbon oil yered. Here you chayav a carbon oil yered, and it goes like this: if you're an usher, you bring an animal. If you're poor, you bring birds, and if you're very poor, you bring mincha. Now, if you are bringing a carbon of an ani, that would have a chatas and an oil. If you're bringing just the carbon of an usher, then you only bring the chatas. You don't bring an oil. Okay. So here's the situation. Mitama mikdash, a guy who went into the mikdash tummy, ani, and he was poor. The hifresh mice, and he separated money, lakinai, for his two birds, one as an ayla, one as a chatas. The heshir, and then he got rich. The achakach amar, and after he got rich, he says, Elu lechatasai, ve'elu la'ilasai. These are for the chatas, and this is for the oila. So he's got money now. One for a chatas, one for an oila. Moisif umevi chayvasai midmei chatasai. He can add on some money to the money that's designated to bring as a chatas, and bring the carbon as a chatas, but he doesn't have to bring an oila anymore, because he is rich now, and he brings a behema. And he doesn't add on anything to bring us from an oila. Okay, now, meaning he can't use the money of the oila for his carbon chatas, because since it's already being designated for an oila, it needs to be used for an oila. You can't change it to a chatas. Okay. Now, when was he mafresh this money? Whenever he was. Was he kaira shame when he was mafresh the money? No, it was only after he became rich. It says that he was kaira lashem. So it wasn't shas lakicha, it wasn't shas asiya. And it still says that by saying which is an oil and this is a chatas, it becomes that, and he's not allowed to change it. So it says the Gemara, "V'ahacha the lav shas lakicha, v'lav shas asihi ukatani dekava." So it seems not like Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda says it's only keveya b'shas lakicha and b'shas asiya. Here, he was kerishim on money, and it's not l'shas lakicha or shas asiya, and it is chal to the extent that he can't use the money that's designated for an oila now as his to add to his chatas. Okay, so Rosh Hashanah explains this. 1 second. I'm Rosh Hashanah. V'tizbra, v'am Rebbe Lazar, I'm Rebbe Aishia. Mitama mikdash ashir, the hebi carbon ani lo yatsa. Rebbe Aishia says, Rebbe Lazar name Rebbe Aishia, if a guy is mitama mikdash while he is an ashir, and he were to bring the carbon of an ani, la yatsa, he's not yatsa. That means this ashir, when this guy who was an ani now became an ashir, if he's gonna go say, if he was to bring the carbon of an ani, he's not yatsa. That means he has no obligation to bring an ayla. He only has an obligation to bring a chatas. Then how could he turn that money into ayla money if he's not chayiv to bring an ayla? Oh, so there's something wrong in this brisa. What do you have to say? You have to say that there's something wrong in this brisa. Shekvar Omar me ani yosai. Oh, you have to say that these words in the brisa of acher kach are off. You have to say that he was already koira shame to the oila and the money of oil and chatas while before he was an ashir, when he was still an ani. Okay, so then hachanami shekvar omer mishas hafrasha. Well, once I already have to explain the brisa, the way the brisa is printed is wrong. So I have to change that he was koira shame before he became an ashir. Then I'll just add that he was he was koira shame b'shas hafrasha. Okay, so that's like Rav Chizda. At the time he was mafresh the money, he said this money is for oila and this money is for chatos, and therefore since he did it b'shas while he was an ani and b'shas hafrasha, it's chal. That's the same thing as b'shas lakicha, and therefore now that he became rich, the money he designated for a chatas could be used for his chatas. The money he designated as an oila cannot be used for his chatas. Fantastic. Says the Gemara, Reb Chana, Amar Baishia. Reb Chana, Reb Chaga, in the name of Yoshia. The Amar Yatza, he's of the opinion that if you are an ashir and you brought the carbon of an ani, you fulfilled your obligation. That would mean that Yutaka could, the scenario could be where he was mafreshit when he was an ani. He wasn't kairashem. Then he became rich and he was kairashem to each one. He said that's the ayla and that's chadas. That's not the shas hafrasha, but that would work because his ayla, even though he's not supposed to bring an ayla, if he brings an ayla, he'd be yetza. So that kriya shem would actually work. So it says, so how are you going to explain him? Tav Alpha Amid Beis. Answers the Gemara. Loi tema ve'acher kach Omar. You got to change the price a little bit. Ella rather ema ve'acher kach lo kach ve'omar. So let's go back to the brisa. The brisa says he was poor. He was hifresh mois l'keinoi ve'heshir ve'acher kach lo kach ve'omar. He bought the animals and he said, this is for the chatas and this is for the oila. Okay. Now Rashi makes the point that, you can make such a mistake. The last line in second last line in the top of Rashi, the Abdi Tanoi, the Mechseri Teva, Achas Aidei Shechacha. Sometimes they could forget a word. Umichlef lu bein ve'achakach lokach ve'achakach amar. Right? You left out the word lakach. Okay, but let's see if this actually pans out. So you want to tell me that the scenario is that he was poor, he was manfish, then he got rich, and he was lakach. He bought the animals, and he said, "This is for the oil this." 1 second, but you didn't buy nothing. The Brisa says lakach. It says that you're adding money and bringing his chayva. How are you adding to it if you already bought the animals? Says the Gemara, what does that mean? The particle, he was paida. He redeemed it. So now he's got the money back. So now you're adding to that money and bringing the carbon of an usher. In fact, the Gemara, ain't paid in life. But you're not allowed to be paid in life. And that's what he was mavrish. And that's what he bought. So that doesn't work. Amar Papa, Kigoin Shalokach Preda Achas. We got to pretend. He bought one bird. And he says like this. If you bought an oila, so when the Brisa says, so he still has the money. The money that's left is going to be the chatas, so that he can add on and bring his chatas. And the animal that he brought as an oila will go as an adav. And if what he already purchased was a chatas, so then he can't add on and bring more from his demay oil, from the demay of the oila. V'hai chatos azla lemisa. Right? If he bought a chatos, so now he wants to do what's right. He wants to bring. He's an ashi now, so he's not going to bring a carbon a bird as the chatos. He's going to bring an animal, but he can't be paid to the bird. So that's done. And the money that he has for the oila, he can't use for his chatas. So he's got to buy a new chatas, v'hai chatas azlo misa, and this chatas has got to go. Great. Okay, we'll continue with this on the next one. Have a wonderful day.